This year, Sonic Adventure 2 is celebrating its 20th anniversary. It's crazy how fast time flies. A month back, I decided to play through the game again to celebrate it in a way. As I was going through the game, I noticed one thing that stuck with me. This game's plot is nuts. A couple days after beating the game, I had a friend send me a picture of a tweet talking about Gerald Robotnik's fate in the game. She wanted to know if it was real. Her reaction to the plot gave me the idea to make this video, because when you say some of the things about this game out loud, you're gonna get some good laughs. This video will be in 4 parts: the hero side story, the dark side story, the last story, and my thoughts on the story overall. So why don't we head right in and see what the blue boy is up to. The story begins with a shot of a government helicopter, GUN, or Guns helicopter to be exact, where we learn that Sonic has been arrested and is being transported to Prison Island. But before any of that could happen, Sonic busts out of the helicopter, taking a piece off of it, and then going for a dive for the streets of Central City below. You then play through City Escape, riding on a makeshift snowboard while trying to lose the pursuit of Gun. Later on, Sonic runs into one of Gun's mechs, Bigfoot, where he easily takes care of the machine. After taking Bigfoot down, Sonic sees someone standing on top of the mech, a black hedgehog who has his hands on the green Chaos Emerald. Sonic comments how he understands now that the military is mistaking this guy for him, and that the black hedgehog has been committing the crimes. Sonic charges the hedgehog ready to fight him. The black hedgehog uses Chaos Control to warp past Sonic. We then learn that his name is Shadow, the ultimate life form. Shadow quickly leaves the area using Chaos Control again, leaving a blinding light. Sonic questions what Shadow is planning to do, but is quickly shocked to see that Gun is caught up and completely surrounds him, leading to Sonic being arrested again. Quick comment on this past scene: Bigfoot was being piloted by someone in the cockpit while fighting Sonic, but we see some of it explode when he beats it. During the scene where Shadow is standing on it, we can see the pilot in there. Hope they're just taking a nap in there. You might actually be going to prison for murder, Sonic. Out in the desert area, we find Knuckles the Echidna arguing with Rouge the Bat, a new character introduced in this game, arguing over the Master Emerald. We'll get into Rouge's character more in the dark side story, but she has her own intentions with the Master Emerald, and Knuckles, being the guardian of the gem, doesn't plan on giving it up anytime soon. While the two argue, Eggman comes out of nowhere and decides to take the emerald for himself. Knuckles notices the Doctor trying to escape the Master Emerald, and remembering what happened last time he tried to take it back, and seeing as there's no other option, Knuckles jumps into the air and smashes the emerald into pieces, which go flying across the world. Eggman decides to retreat while Rouge gets furious with Knuckles for smashing the gem, leading to the two rushing off to hunt for the pieces. While Knuckles is out in Wild Canyon playing a glorified version of Pick Up Sticks, Tails is flying over Prison Island, ready to break Sonic out, saying that Sonic would never commit those crimes. It's here that we learn that those crimes actually are destroying a military base and robbing a bank. Oh no, he might have murdered a gun soldier earlier, so keep a close eye on him. As Tails talks to himself, he spots Amy down on the island being followed by Eggman. Tails quickly decides to help her, transforming the tornado into a walking mech called the Cyclone. Tails battles Eggman with the two ending in a draw. Eggman runs off, saying he'll beat Tails next time. Tails and Amy talk for a second, then set off to find and break out Sonic. Amy ends up finding Sonic's cell, which, by the way, don't you think they'd have it guarded? Like, this hedgehog can move at the speed of sound. Don't you want him to be watched at all times? Anyway, Amy helps Sonic and tells him that she ran into Eggman and Shadow, which catches Sonic's attention as he realizes that the Doctor has to be the one behind this. Amy asks Sonic about the writing all over the wall, but only to find that he's run off to search for Eggman and put a stop to his schemes. Sonic runs through Metal Harbor, destroying some robots and hopping on a rocket. Sonic makes his way to Green Forest before running into Shadow. The two trade insults and then fight each other. After a couple hits, the two have a stare down before Shadow gets a message from Eggman telling him to get off the island before it blows up. Sonic hears this and yells, "Nandate?" Shadow quickly runs off, while Sonic makes the decision to hurry and find Tails and Amy so they can get off the island before it's too late. Sonic finds them and the trio make their way off the island just as it gets completely obliterated. Just as they make their way back to Central City, a broadcast is being played all around the world by Dr. Eggman, where he proclaims that his empire will be the greatest of them all, as he reveals the Eclipse Cannon out in space, which he uses to blow up half the moon. The crowd watches in horror as Eggman's laugh can be heard echoing, as a new timer for 24 hours is set on all screens, letting the world know how long until the Earth suffers a similar fate. Sonic, Tails, and Amy try and go over a plan to stop Eggman before it's too late. Sonic mentions that the cannon is probably powered by Chaos Emeralds, which would explain why Shadow had one. Tails then pulls out an emerald of his own, explaining that the emeralds can be used like magnets to attract each other, which means they could use this to find where Eggman is hiding. The explanation is halted as gun soldiers begin to approach the group. Sonic says he'll distract the police while Tails finds a way to get out of there and find Eggman. Now we don't know how he distracts them, but I like to think like that episode of Sonic X where he's outrunning them. Cut to the next morning where Tails is talking to Sonic on his phone. He explains that he's no longer tracking a signal from the emeralds, which leads him to believe that Eggman's taken them out into space. And then Knuckles just randomly comes out of a manhole. Yeah, while these three were trying to escape the police, Knuckles was deep underground in an aquatic mine looking for Master Emerald pieces. Knuckles explains that while he was in there, he got lost and ended up here. Lucky him, he found Tails. As Knuckles and Amy are talking, Tails finds transcripts between Eggman and the president within the government's computer. Which, Tails, how did you get into that? Anyways, Tails tells Sonic that if they can make it into the president's limo and trace the call, they can find their way to Eggman. So Tails transforms the Cyclone again into a cart-like vehicle and races off to catch up with the president. Inside the limo, we find the president discussing a negotiation with Eggman. Eggman says to give the country to the Eggman Empire, otherwise he'll destroy it with a cannon. He has 24 hours to give an answer, otherwise he'll destroy it anyways. Sonic and Tails then jump into the limo. Sonic saying some random "we got this" type lines to the president while Tails finds Eggman coordinates. The two jump out of the limo, leaving the president very confused. You know, saying that out loud sounds so stupid but puts a smile on my face. Sonic meets the president. Later on in the day, the group of heroes make their way to the pyramids of the desert area, which, while we're talking about it, why is it so close to Central City? Like here we have San Francisco, and then a 12-hour drive we're in the desert. Knuckles confirms that he saw Eggman go in there, make sure with Amy that she saw Rouge with them. Tails says he'll go look for the entrance. After blowing up some of Eggman's robots, they find the entrance. There's only one problem, it's locked. Sonic graciously offers up Knuckles to go look for the key, wishing the world's greatest treasure hunter luck. What a good friend Sonic is. Knuckles does some searching and finds the keys needed to open the door, but he hears a noise behind him as he's going to leave. He sees a giant ghost named King Boombo. Knuckles takes on the ghost, and with the help of sunlight in his fist, Knuckles beats the king. Knuckles returns to the others to get the door open, and then Eggman comes in to ruin the fun. Hey, at least he gives him a nice little wave. Eggman calls in his new servant, the Egg Golem, but with a simple bam, bam, and bam, Sonic beats the rock robot with ease. The heroes then quickly get on a rocket ship Eggman had stored in the pyramid and make their way into space to stop the cannon from firing. As they're making their way their arc, Tails accidentally bumps into an asteroid, which causes the back hatch to open, sending Knuckles' Master Emerald pieces into space. I mean, the kid's like 8, so you can't get too mad at him. Knuckles gets frustrated about this and tries to make Tails land the ship so he can go out there and get them back. Which is understandable. I mean, if my plot point in the game was thrown out into space, I'd be mad too. Sonic, Tails, and Amy are walking through the halls of the Ark as Sonic complains about Knuckles. He notices the Red Boy is dipped out to go looking for the lost pieces. Tails comments on how the Ark was shut down over 50 years ago due to a terrible accident. Sonic doesn't really listen, and he's more concerned about finding Eggman before he fires the cannon again. Tails says the cannon can only be damaged from the inside. As he explains this, he pulls out a Chaos Emerald, or so you'd think. Tails explains that this is actually a fake Chaos Emerald, almost the same as the real one, but a little weaker. Tails says he will head off to find the power supply while Sonic goes to find the control room. While Tails cuts the power, Sonic will quickly switch out a real Chaos Emerald for the fake one. Gosh, poor Amy is just left by herself. Couldn't she have tagged along with Tails for some extra help? While those two are going through with their plan, let's check on Knuckles. Just as Knuckles finishes looking for the Master Emerald pieces in Meteor Herd, Rouge shows up to try and take the pieces from Knuckles. The two fight each other, leading to a standstill. They both yell at each other to give up the emerald pieces. As Rouge goes to step forward, she accidentally slips off the ledge and begins to fall towards the lava below. Her man Knuckles quickly goes into action and grabs her hand, saving her from the fall. He helps her up, they look at each other, and then she gets mad at him for grabbing her hand. Knuckles barks back, saying that's not how you treat someone who just saved your life. Rouge decides to hand over the emerald pieces to Knuckles and, hey, be careful with those, you're on a really small platform. What if one rolled off? Knuckles puts the Master Emerald back together and apologizes to Rouge for being rough on her earlier. He then runs off, having completed his task of putting the Master Emerald back together. Good job, Knuckles. Let's get back to Sonic and Tails. After looking around the Ark, Tails is able to take out the power, And just as Sonic makes it to the control room and is about to put the fake emerald in, Tails' communication suddenly changes to Eggman, telling Tails to tell Sonic to go back to the research facility. We hear Tails say something about Amy. See, I told you one of them should have brought her along. You basically left her in a hallway holding a sign that says, "Hey, take me hostage." Sonic hurries back to the facility, and he walks in to see Tails and Amy there with Eggman pointing what I'm guessing is a laser gun at Amy. You know, Eggman, you could just shoot like 3 times and win, but nah, that'd be too easy. Eggman tells Sonic to hand over the Chaos Emerald. Sonic realizes that he has a pretty good chance here. If he hands over the fake emerald pretending it's real, Eggman will eventually put it in the machine. He goes forward to hand over the emerald, but Eggman chuckles as a capsule falls, trapping Sonic.
Did you know it wasn't the real one?
Tails! Because you just told me, Fox Boy.
Finally showing off that 300 IQ I see, Eggman plans on sending the capsule into space, where it will self-destruct. Sonic looks over to Tails, telling him he leaves the rest to him, and he tells Amy to take care of herself. As the capsule is rocketing towards Earth, Sonic thinks back to what Tails said about the emerald, how it has the same wavelength and properties as a real one. He holds the emerald in his hand. We see the capsule blow up from inside the Ark. Well, rip Blue Boy. Eggman tells Tails to hand over the real emerald and he might spare them. Tails says that Sonic asked him to handle things and that he won't give up, leading to the two battling one last time with Tails beating Eggman. Knuckles is walking around the Ark as he feels a weird energy. Sonic, alive, warps next to Knuckles, happy his plan worked, saying he used the fake Chaos Emerald to form Chaos Control. He asks Knuckles if he can make sure Tails and Amy are okay. He has one last shot to stop this cannon. He says right before the cannon fires, he plans on using the emerald to stop it. In his words, not mine, he's gonna
Slam dunk it in there!
Sonic hurries through Final Rush to make it to the cannon. He runs into Shadow, where the two talk for a second before fighting one last time, where Sonic wins. Back at the research facility, Tails is out of his mech thinking about Sonic. Just then, he receives an incoming message from his radio, and with Tails distracted, we see Eggman grab the real emerald. Which, why did you even leave it on the ground, Tails? You could have kept it in your mech. Sonic tells Tails good job for beating Eggman, which makes Tails happy seeing as a second ago, Tails thought Sonic blew up like a firework. Sonic says to look outside. We see the cannon about to fire, but it begins to blow up. Looks like the Blue Boy was able to
Slam dunk!
the emerald. With a thumbs up and a grin, we end the hero side story. Now let's see how everything went down on the dark side.
Eggman steals the research from a military base located on an island to the south. The military's top-secret weapon, Shadow, sealed in the space colony Ark, the 7 Chaos Emerald. When all of the keys have been collected, world conquest will be ahead. Sonic Adventure 2, The Dark Side Story. Long live the Eggman Empire.
We begin with Gun's military base on Prison Island under attack by Dr. Eggman, who is searching for his grandfather's work, a secret military weapon that was shut down. Eggman eventually finds where the weapon is being held, and he puts in the password Maria into the computer, along with the Chaos Emerald. Eggman expects to see some type of weapon, but instead a capsule comes out of the ground, which Shadow comes out of. At first, Eggman thinks it's Sonic who's coming to stop him, but realizes this is someone else. Shadow introduces himself and says that for awakening him, he will help Eggman. Shadow shows off his power by taking down one of Gun's mechs, Hotshot, which he easily defeats. I could make the same joke about Shadow probably just killing a Gun soldier, but that's not as unexpected as Sonic. Eggman questions Shadow about helping him, in which Shadow says that they need the Chaos Emeralds, and to meet him in the central control room of the space colony Ark. Eggman is left confused as Shadow leaves. We cut to the desert area where we're introduced to Rouge. I already talked about this scene, so all that you need to know is Rouge is also looking for the Master Emerald pieces. But hey, this time we know why Eggman was randomly out in the desert, as his secret base is located in the pyramid. Eggman goes into his base thinking about what Shadow said. He goes to check up for information on his computer before a news report pops up. The reporter states that someone has broken into the Administration State Bank and stole a Chaos Emerald, which surprises Eggman. The report continues as eyewitness reports say that it was Sonic who broke into the bank. We also see a video of Shadow, which, come on, Sonic? Shadow. Up on the bridge of Central City, Shadow is watching as the police try and catch up with him. Then he gets a flashback to the past. Shadow is running with a girl as we hear soldiers say not to let them get away. Now I'm gonna play the Japanese version of this because it's uncensored, but then we hear
Anya!
We then see the young girl, who we now know her name is Maria, standing over a control panel weakly. She presses a button, putting Shadow into a capsule. She begs Shadow to one day tell all the people on Earth she wants him to... We don't know what she says, as there's no audio. She sends the capsule with Shadow inside to Earth. After 50 years, it seems that Shadow's memory is spotty, but he decides to take revenge on humanity for her death. Shadow escapes the military by going through Radical Highway, which leads to the scene of Sonic and him meeting for the first time. You know, I think it's kind of cool that we get to go through these scenes with a little bit more context this time. We cut back to Rouge, who's made her way into the pyramid leading to Eggman's base, but just like Knuckles, she needs to find 3 keys to unlock the entrance. Also, Rouge was talking to someone at the beginning of the scene. After collecting the keys, Rouge makes her way to Eggman's computer where she finds a transporter with the set destination being the space colony Ark. Rouge decides to power up the machine to teleport herself. Now on the Ark, Eggman makes his way to the control room Shadow told him about. Shadow greets the doctor as he arrives and begins to give more information about Eggman's grandfather, Gerald Robotnik, and the Ark. Shadow explains that not many people know that the Ark was also used to create powerful weapons, including the one they're standing in front of, the Eclipse Cannon. He then goes on to explain that the cannon needs a lot of energy to operate, which he demonstrates by putting the Green Apple Jolly Rancher looking Chaos Emerald in. He says that if they have all 7, they even have the power to destroy a planet. As the two are having a good time scheming, Rouge glides down from the ceiling ready to set up a deal with Eggman. She asks to borrow the Emerald Radar from Eggman to get the other emeralds. She even shows off the blue raspberry one. Eggman agrees and the trio make their way to the jungle of Prison Island, where Rouge says the emeralds are being held. Eggman sets up a plan. He'll distract the military, Shadow plants a bomb, and Rouge breaks into the military vault to get the Chaos Emeralds. All this has to be done in 30 minutes. After destroying robots and planes and weapons bed, Eggman tells the others it's time to follow the plan. And then Amy comes out of nowhere grabbing onto Shadow. Amy mistakes Shadow for Sonic, but only for a moment. She then notices he is not alone as Eggman and Rouge are there. Eggman tells Shadow and Rouge that he'll take care of her and for them to go complete the mission. Just as Eggman prepares to finish off Amy, Tails comes down from the sky and fights Eggman. It's about the same as last time, but hey, at least Eggman gets to win. Good job, Eggman, you beat up an 8-year-old. Shadow finishes his stuff off screen and plants the bomb. Eggman tells Rouge to set her bomb for 15 minutes and find the Chaos Emeralds. Rouge gets cocky and says she only needs 5 minutes. If you played this stage, you wish you had 15. Rouge finds the 3 emeralds, but just as she leaves, she runs into one of Gun's mechs, Flying Dog. Gosh, who comes up with these names? Bigfoot, Hotshot, and now Flying Dog? Could Gun not come up with cooler names? Like, come on, one of them's gotta be named Hot Dog. Rouge, of course, beats the mech. What are these things made out of? Tinfoil? Also, that's 3 Gun soldiers who have possibly died, so gone but never forgotten. Shadow is making his way through the jungle when he receives a radio transmission from Rouge. She states that she got herself stuck in the vault with the Chaos Emeralds. Shadow brushes it off before having a flash of Maria right before she died, then of Rouge. Shadow hurries off, basically having a PTSD-induced panic attack while going through White Jungle. Shadow runs into Sonic where the two fight. Just like what I said with Eggman, same as the Hero Side story, except this time Shadow beats Sonic. As Sonic and Shadow are just staring at each other, Eggman radios Shadow telling him to hurry get off the island. Shadow makes his way to Rouge, and with 5 seconds to spare, he uses Chaos Control to get them off the island. We see a flashback of Shadow and Maria aboard the Ark, where the two talk about the planet and its people. Shadow tells Maria that he doesn't understand why he was born and questions his purpose, asking that if he goes to Earth, will he find it there? Just as he goes to say something again, we hear Rouge say something. Cuts to Shadow standing where him and Maria stood, but in present day. Rouge says she's surprised that Shadow came back to help her, but Shadow says he wasn't saving her, he just came for the emeralds. Got your eyes on the prize, Shadow, good job. Eggman comes in and informs Shadow and Rouge that the cannon is set up and ready. Even though they only have 6 emeralds, they can still use it for the demonstration. The video of Eggman plays again, half the moon gets blown up again, no big deal. It's only the moon. After the demonstration of what the cannon can do, Eggman is frustrated as the government has denied negotiations with them, which means in order to use the cannon at its full power to destroy the planet, they must have all 7 emeralds. Rouge finds it funny Eggman is so mad. She gives intel on the final emerald, a newspaper that says that Tails received a Chaos Emerald as a reward for defeating Eggman and saving Station Square back in Sonic Adventure. That's a cool way to connect the two games. Also, it's really convenient they give him the emerald and not a key to the city or something like that. Eggman says that they need to go down to the surface and chase after the heroes immediately. Him and Shadow exit the room, leaving only Rouge in there. She pulls out a little communicator saying that she isn't yet sure if Shadow is the ultimate life form, but that she will give a follow-up report immediately, along with mentioning that they better not forget her payment in jewels. Rouge races after Tails at about the time he's going after the president in the hero side story. Rouge even has her own custom car. Rouge catches up to Tails and doesn't really do anything, she just follows. The heroes fly by Skyrail where Shadow is currently. He also just chases after them but doesn't do anything. He instead calls Eggman and tells him that they're heading towards the base. Cut back to the heroes while they're in the base. Same as before, Eggman greets them, shows them the egg golem, and oh, that's different. Sonic beats the robot in one simple kick and causes it to go haywire and instead attack Eggman. While he gets to do that, the heroes rush into space. Rouge is set up on the Ark talking on the phone with Eggman, surprised to hear that the heroes escaped and they're heading her way. She says that she'll set up to intercept them, but also ask for the colony's control password. Rouge gives a laugh after the call, saying it's easy to deceive that old man. She puts in the password Maria and does a little digging into Project Shadow, but she is surprised to see something in the file. But before she has a chance to dig any further, a signal comes in on the screen saying that the energy reading from the Master Emerald is close by, and Rouge, being the jewel collector she is, doesn't pass up the offer and goes out to look for the pieces. Events play out like normal as they did in the hero side story. Rouge runs into Knuckles, the two fight, Rouge hands over the emerald pieces, and the two run off. Back in the pyramid, Eggman questions what Rouge is doing. He also points out that there's 2 emerald readings on the Ark, leading him to believe that the heroes are planning on using a fake emerald. Eggman tells Shadow to stand down for now, as he wants to be the one to finish this, but if it comes to it, he'll leave the rest to Shadow. Eggman makes his way onto the Ark, and to his luck, he finds Amy just walking around, who he casually holds at gunpoint. You know the deal by now. Same thing happens as the hero side story. Eggman traps Sonic, reveals that he has a big brain, launches Sonic into space, bam, rip Blue Boy. Tails and Eggman fight, but who wins this time? Cut to somewhere else inside the Ark, where Shadow watches Sonic capsule explode. Rouge is out in the control room planning to take the emeralds for herself, but before she has a chance, Shadow comes in and reveals that he knows who she really is, a spy for the president. Yep, Rouge has been playing both sides for her own benefits. Rouge laughs, asking if he's read up on her, revealing that she's read up on him. She reads from a document about Project Shadow, mentioning that the creature on the page is different from the one standing in front of her, asking who he is actually. Before the two can talk about it, Eggman calls Shadow and reports that he's gotten the last emerald, but someone is heading directly to the cannon's core, and Shadow needs to take care of them. Before Shadow leaves, Rouge asks him if he truly believes he is Shadow. He responds with yes. Rouge says that his memories might be fake, not even his own. Shadow stands for a second and says they're all he has, and that he will fulfill Maria's wish. Shadow runs off into final chase. He makes it to the location and is surprised to see Sonic's alive. The two talk and then fight. This time Shadow beats him. Back in the control room, Eggman has his hand on the last emerald and prepares to start the Eggman Empire. He doesn't even place it in, he just throws it in. As Eggman has a good laugh, a warning symbol flashes up on the screen. That can't be good.
The ultimate life form. Chaos control.
Space desperation.
Supersonic
collision.
Untamed power. Maria.
Professor Gerald,
The truth about 50 years ago.
Sonic Adventure 2. Last episode. Wishes are eternal.
We begin right where we left off in the Dark Side story. Eggman is left staring at the screen, questioning why the cannon won't fire. A video pops up of a man who Eggman immediately says is his late grandfather, Gerald Robotnik. Sonic and Knuckles are in the research facility as they feel the Ark begin to shake. Rouge comes into the room to tell them it's all over, that she has received a report back on Earth saying that the Ark is coming directly towards the Earth and is very likely to crash into the planet. That's when the three notice the video playing. Back on Earth, Gerald's video plays on every screen. Humanity is in a state of panic as Gerald tells them of his plans to crash the Ark into the Earth. The group on the Ark watched the video as Gerald explains that when all 7 emeralds are put together and stored in the Ark, his plan for revenge will begin. This is where they learn that this isn't just some video, this is his execution video. Gerald Robotnik gets executed by a firing squad, but of course we don't actually see it. Eggman walks in and explains who Gerald is to everyone in the room. He also isn't really surprised to see that Sonic is still alive. He hands Rouge his grandfather's diary, which Rouge puts into the computer. Gerald writes how could this have gone all wrong, how the government feared his project of creating the ultimate life form, and they most likely wanted to erase the whole thing. It's here we learn that Maria is Gerald's granddaughter, and how he hoped her and his colleagues would be safe. The government publicly announced that the Ark was shut down due to an accident. Later on, Gerald learns of Maria's death and loses it. She was all he had, and all he wants now is revenge on humanity. He even mentions that he controls Shadow's memories. But yeah, what a plot for a Sonic game, hearing about how a man wants revenge on the world for his grandfather's death and then gets executed by firing squad? Sonic Team back in 2001 just did whatever they wanted, huh? Anyways, the group decide to work together to stop the destruction of Earth. Rouge mentions that the Master Emerald might be able to stop the Chaos Emeralds from providing power to the Ark. So they all work together to find the quickest path to the Emeralds and hopefully save the day. Everyone does their part. Tails and Eggman destroyed barrier walls, Rouge drained some fluids in the central Jerome solution, whatever that is. Knuckles goes for a nice swim in the liquids to find the last barrier wall blocking off the route to the core. And Sonic rushes off to get to the core. But aren't we forgetting someone? Oh yeah, Shadow. Amy finds him sitting in a room by himself. Amy begs Shadow to help him, but Shadow says there's no reason to help, he's already completed his plan. Amy gives a speech to Shadow about how the people on Earth are trying their best to live, so that one day they can be happy. She begs for him to give them a chance. Shadow then hears Maria's voice in his head, going back to that moment before she launched the capsule. Shadow actually gets to hear what she says. She wants Shadow to give the people of Earth a chance to be happy. With her dying breath, she says that's why he was born, and says goodbye. Shadow has an oh shit moment and rushes off to fulfill Maria's true wish. Back at the core, Sonic and Knuckles make their way to the Chaos Emeralds before running into the ultimate life form prototype, the Bio-Lizard. Shadow steps in and says he'll handle the prototype while the two make a run for the Emeralds. After a quick fight, Shadow defeats the Bio-Lizard. As that happens, Sonic and Knuckles make their way to the altar, where Knuckles recites a ritual to stop the Chaos Emeralds. As the Emeralds begin to calm, the Bio-Lizard uses Chaos Control to teleport away. Knuckles asks why the colony is still heading for the Earth even though they stopped the Chaos Emeralds. Eggman pops in on the loudspeaker and informs them that the prototype is still alive, and in front of the Ark steering it and making sure it crashes into Earth. Sonic and Shadow break out their last option. They use the Chaos Emeralds to turn into Super Sonic and Super Shadow. With 5 minutes left before the Ark crashes into Earth, the stakes are set for the final battle against the Bio-Lizard, now called the Final Hazard. Sonic and Shadow take a turn fighting the beast, and with barely any time left, the two defeat the prototype life form. With the Ark close to hitting the Earth, the two hedgehogs charge at it, with Shadow hearing Maria's message one last time. The two put almost everything they have into a blast of chaos control of the Ark, successfully teleporting it away from the planet. But with this being his first time using his super form and putting so much energy into the chaos control, Shadow begins to fall towards Earth. Quietly, he says,
Maria, this is what you wanted, right? This is my promise I made to you.
Shadow sacrificed himself to save the people of Earth. That's pretty sad.
Wait, doesn't he come back in here?
We're not there yet. The people on Earth cheering, knowing that the day has been saved. Sonic returns to the Ark. Rouge asks where Shadow is. Sonic shakes his head, only pulling out his inhibitor ring, which he gives to Rouge. With the mood in the room being somber, the group look out towards Earth, wondering about Shadow and all that has happened. When Amy asks Sonic how he's feeling, he brushes it off and says they should head home. As they leave, Sonic looks back, giving one last goodbye to the fallen hero Shadow. After the credits roll, an image of Shadow is seen over the Earth, ending the game and its story. And what an ending. The music gets me every time at the end. Now let's head right into the conclusion for this. Yeah, the plot of the game is nuts, but man do I love it for that. A friend told me it's like a plot of a superhero movie, and I have to agree. For a game like this, Sonic Team really put their all into it, but that doesn't mean it's perfect. Well, no game can be. Amy's just there in the plot, and only really used at the end of the game to convince Shadow to help. Knuckles sort of has a similar problem, but not as bad seeing as he plays a bigger role. There's another thing a lot of people like to talk about. that if Shadow stayed dead at the end of this game, it would have had a lot more meaning. I agree with that, but they went in to flesh his character out more in the later games, which hopefully one day I'll make a video about. There's always the point of, why is there a rock into the pyramid, or why Rouge didn't just fly when she fell? And yeah, I get those, but they're not that big of a deal, so that's why I just made jokes out of them. I'm just glad this game has kept people talking about it for almost 20 years now, and I can see why it's favorites to some people. Going over the plot like this really helped me focus in on some of the stuff in this game. Doing research on both the English and Japanese version of this game were interesting. Like, we didn't hear the gunshot that kills Maria in the US version, or a gun soldier telling the firing squad to aim at Gerald. We don't even hear about how Gerald controls Shadow's memories, which makes him think of revenge in the first place. And I mean, this is some heavy stuff, like it's talking about loss of a loved one, wanting revenge for it, trauma. Shadow goes through a ton of trauma in this game. He went through a PTSD run through White Jungle earlier. I mean, he basically watched his sister get shot. We don't get to see this in this game, but they had a bigger connection together than what we saw in here. So, no wonder he wanted revenge. But I should really save all that for the Shadow-centered video. All I have to say is, can I have whatever Sonic Team had back in 2001, because that stuff seems pretty good.